There we go. If y'all can hear me, let me get a 1. Make sure my mic's on here. All right. Let's do this here. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy in the building, Dollar Mill. And I came to introduce to you tonight's speaker, the young Jedi, one world, one hood. And I really like this young man because when he decided to go live, he came up with that catchy phrase, there's 6 different ways to make a voltage and paying for it's not one of them. Free energy. No, please hold your applause because it's not needed. But if I can get you to hit that like button, hit the subscribe if you haven't done so. We can share it to make sure that we get moved, promoted on and the algorithms move, Yeah. And now, like I said, if y'all can hear me, get a 1. I see some 1s in there. And let's have some fun. Let's do this. Let's do this. All right. The matrix is a system, and that system is our enemy. And when you're inside the system, what do you see? Businessmen, teachers, lawyers, electricians, the very minds of the people we're trying to save. But until we do, these people are still part of that system, and that makes them our enemy. You have to understand that most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. Many of them are so hopelessly dependent upon the system that they actually fight to protect it. Now, was you listening to me, or was you paying attention to JBO King in the chat room? What's popping, y'all? Let me see who I got in. I see. Where we at? I see Peabody Grind. I see you in my magic mirror. Oh, the boss, the young Jedi boss. This stream is for you. I see Eric Gooden. My man, Bruce Leroy, in the building. I see you, bro. I see JJ the Enlightened One. I see we got the fam up in here already. Who's that? Laurel One, if I got that right. I'm starting to think I'm going to need some glasses here. I'm starting to get old, I guess. I'm starting to have problems squinting here. What we got up in here? I see JLBOK, Life of Lou. You know what I'm saying? Peabody Gridiron. We up in here. We here. We live. Yeah, let's do this. All right. Where do we start off with this here? We have the back chat, and with the young Jedis is in there, and in the back chats, we had a few questions, and this actually live stream was mainly for them. I'm not gonna have a long period of time today because I do have a Zoom call to do a little later on today, but I want to make sure that we got some understanding. You know what I mean? All right. So what can we do? First off, I did see the Bro Sanchez stream yesterday, and a few of our family in the chat room was telling me that I was a little late and I should have been there to see what was going on and make sure I recapped it. And I did. I watched it, I recapped it. And I don't know how to say this in a way, in a nice way, because I'm just like kind of blunt and stuff like that. But nah, that's not gonna work. You know what I'm saying? No light in the box, and no generator to push a light to put onto a solar panel to be able to, you know what I'm saying, the one to do the other one to do the other. That's not gonna work. That doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? But it's a good try, and what happens is that if we don't do these things, if we don't try, you know what I'm saying, we don't succeed at anything. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not mad at the try. But what would happen is that you come join us in the chat or something, like join us in our back chat or something like that, and we'll help you not be able to bump your head so many times. You know what I mean? We'll help you get past a few things and give you a quick reason and a rundown why these things wouldn't work, and help you get focused in the proper direction. You know what I'm saying? And learn what it's all about. You know what I mean? But a light in the box, man, y'all almost had me out choked over here. I was like, man, he put a light in the box. Got the sun in the box, huh? No, man, you can't do that. But anywho, let's talk about something. One of the Jedis was telling me that we needed some clarification on the schematic. So what I would like to do is just draw the schematic out with y'all real quick. So let me make sure my camera's on. How do I do that here? There we go. Cam. Bam. Make sure the cam is on. Yeah. Okay. Boom. Listen, you get a little stuff move out of the way a little bit so we can see. As you can already see, this right here is the actual, the famous Gary Destroyer that we call, you know what I'm saying? And what we're gonna do is we're gonna draw what this is all about in its simplest form. In its simplest form. Mind you, this may be pretty complex and it might be doing a lot. And you probably, you got to work, you crawl before you walk. What I'm going to draw here will be this in its simplest form. How can you get yours as powerful as mine? You know what I'm saying? Well, like I said, we crawl before we walk. So we're going to do it one step at a time. And once you get this understanding, then we're going to understand why it works. We're going to go about what's happening. We're going to and we're going to go by the truth, because that's what we are. We're truth seekers, so we want to know the truth about it, and that's what we're going to do here. So let me draw this out, because when you draw it out and you talk about things and you say it out loud, it helps the situation. Like when you're talking and you're saying something to yourself and you're talking in your head, there's a difference from when you're saying it in your head and then when you actually let it come out your mouth and speak it out loud. So this is what we're going to do here. We're going to draw this out. We're going to talk it out loud. That's going to help us get an understanding. That means you're going to hear it twice, because if you can hear yourself talking in your head, when it comes out your mouth, you hear it twice. I teach the children that all the time. I'll be like, yo, listen, maybe, even when you're reading to yourself, read it out loud, because sometimes you need to hear how you sound, because sometimes you say some shit and it sounds retarded. And in your head, it sounded right, but when it came out your lips, it just sounded retarded. You know what I'm saying? That's why you need to let it come out. So somebody says, what the hell you just said? And you be like, oh, yeah, thank you. Anyway, let's do this here. Now, the way I'm drawing this schematic is in layman's terms. In other words, I'm not drawing this out as you're going to need a class to learn how to read the blueprint. I'm drawing this out with each individual piece. I'm drawing a picture of each individual piece and showing you each connection. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with, we had a little fidget spinner, and I'm going to draw this triangle, this star right here. And I'll put a circle around the peace sign. All right. This is a representation. This is going to be a representation of our the fidget spinner that's right here in the middle of the coils. All right, and right here, I'm going to draw a picture of my little rendition picture of a coil. Bam. All right. That little picture that I drew right there is the actual, these little cores that we're making. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you know, we can go through another lesson about actually making the cores. But like I said, this lesson right here kind of is for the Jedis. So they're a little past these areas. All right. But like I said, we'll come back to it. This is all a recap. So, you know what I mean? It's a quickie. So, but these are the cores. This core I'm drawing in one. I don't have to draw this as many as I have in here because I'm, like I said, we're keeping this in this very simple stage. And then we're going to show you how, because that was the next part, because one of the other Jedi wants to know about putting these together in series and exactly how I'm wiring it one step at a time. Okay, we have our fidget spinner representing our magnet. On each side of these, I got a magnet. This magnet is going to spin. It's going to pass our little core here that we made. This core is wires. You know what I'm saying? Boss wanted to know what size wires am I using. Now, I actually gave y'all the layout, and I didn't change from it. So if I'm using, this is a bifilar coil, bifilar meaning two wires bi, okay? One is a size 22 gauge, the other one size 24 gauge that I'm using. We can substitute if you couldn't find 22 and 24, you know what I'm saying? Keep them somewhat around the ballpark. But that's the only thing that's about. The reason why it's so small is because we're doing things small. We need a lot of wraps going around the coil. All right. So with these lot of wraps going around the coil, I would like to say at least 1,000. If you had the bigger the wire, the less wraps you're going to make. So we're using thin wires. We need to go around a lot of turns. We're creating a spiral. This power is spiraling, and while it's spiraling, it's passing through and going through a spiral, it's also inducing itself. But that's another part. Let's keep drawing this and let's move to the next part. All right. Where's my black? Okay. So now let's draw the, over here, I'm going to draw the transistor. All right. The transistor is shaped like that. Okay. Let me see if I have one over here for you so you can see. Here was the transistor. All right. This is a power transistor. Okay. It's 2N3055 transistor. Somebody can write that down if y'all looking to remember these things. Part number of the type of transistor we're using. All right. And when we have this transistor, I will be bringing this closer, but right now I'm just, hopefully you should be able to see it from there. That was my little, again, transistor I drew here. See the shape of it? And what I do is I mark my leads out so I know who they are, and I'm going to draw that over here. One is E for emitter, the other one is B for the base. The body, which is the whole metal casing of this, is C for collector. So the three different points of connection points on this is this lead, E for emitter, B for the base, and the whole entire shell of the body is called the collector. That's the C. All right. Okay. I marked over here E for emitter on one side. I mark B for the base. And of course, the whole entire body is the collector, that's C. So y'all already remember that, okay? All right. Let's move it on. Now, we have in between this area, and I'm drawing it like this so we can see, and we're going to draw this diode, because there's going to be a diode in here. And on the diode, we're writing the type of diode. It's a 1 N 0 0 1 N 4 0 0 1. And what happens is that if you get the diodes, if I go pull some diodes out over here, they're gonna look like, you ever seen them? They're a little stick, and they go like that. And there's a little tab on one side. All right, I'm just drawing it like that. You can see there's a little tab on one side, a little white tab on it, and the rest of it's black. And I made sure I'm drawing it out like that so you can see exactly how I'm hooking it up. Now, so that means the white tab goes on the B, and the black side goes on the E. Let me show it to you a little closer. So make sure that you got this, because like I said, the object of this is to make it in layman's terms so you can, you know what I'm saying, and you get it to understand. That's why I make sure when I get this, I write these out so I know which one is E and which one is B. Those are another lessons we do behind it. All right. I write this on here. And then what I can do is, let me see if I find one that I put a transistor on it already for you. Whatever. Listen. You could just take your diode. I wrap one side around one. I wrap the other one around the other side. In fact, I think I have one over here that's done. Here is one. And my little mini. Let me see if I can get this up for you. Get you a little close. I'm using my laptop here, so computer. So, and what I did was I took it. It's so small, little diode. I put it right in between, and I just wrap the ends right around each side of the diode in there, right in between. You don't want to do it that way. You can take it, man. You can have your diode 5 feet away from it. Just wrap it on. Make sure it goes over, and each side connects to each side. That's the important part. All right. All right. So cool. And you need this as a diode to buy, the 1N4001. That's the diode for that area right there, right? Like I said, we're making this, trying to make it real simple for the person who is not an electrician or something like that to get an understanding. Okay, let me erase this piece out of here. Okay. Now, off this B side, I'm going to bring this out over here so we can see. We're going to have, I'm drawing this picture. We're going to have light on this one, all right? And I'm going to draw this light right over here. And I make a light bulb, something like that. And I'm going to bring the other side of the light here. All right. Let's look at it again here, a little closer. My little rendition of a light bulb. And I'm letting you know that this light bulb is coming off of the B side. All right. This light bulb, we call this light bulb the grain of wheat. Grain of wheat bulb. Okay, the grain of wheat bulb. This is. You go look up the grain of wheat bulb, and when you're buying your parts, this bulb is called the grain of wheat bulb. Find it on Amazon. These things, all of these parts is cost pennies. You know what I'm saying? They cost so cheap, you might have to buy a pack of them. You know what I'm saying, for a couple of dollars because they're so cheap. You know what I'm saying? This is called a grain of wheat ball. One side of it, there's two sides, of course. One side went to the B, the other side is going to go to our resistor. I'm going to draw a picture of my rendition picture of a resistor. Okay. And this resistor is a 100 ohm resistor. Drew it here so you can see it. Other side of this went to the 100 ohm resistor. Okay. The other side of this, I'm just drawing it down over here for space. Doesn't make a difference. One connection goes to one, connection goes to the next, connection goes to the next connection. Let me see if I can show you. Little tiny resistors. All right. 100 ohm resistor. Grain of wheat ball. Transistor. Diode. Core with the two wires wrapped around, called bifilar. Fidget spinner we got over here, the magnets on it. All right, we see in our connection. Now, this other side of this is going to what's called a potentiometer. When I drew it, you seen me drawing it like this. These are the three connection points on it. This is going from your resistor is going to one side of the potentiometer, and then we're going to jumper from one to the other, and then the other side of the connection comes off here. Let me show it to you. Let's get a little closer. These was your potentiometer, your 1K potentiometer. I still got it in the pack. You can see it's got three connections. Doesn't make a difference left to right, right to left. It didn't make a difference. You're going in and out. What we did was I took two of them and tied it together. That's what you're seeing here. One is tied to the other. We connected in on one. We tied it, jump it to the other. And now the other side right here is where we're going to finish moving our connection on. So let's finish drawing this out. Real simple circuit. The other side of this potentiometer is actually going to go to the coil. Okay? And when it goes to the coil, remember there's two wires coming off the coil. One is smaller, one is bigger. So, and I'm doing this, like I said, again, I'm explaining this in a layman's term. I'm not trying to sound too technical. I want everybody to be able to understand. That's why I'm saying it where we had two wires off of this. One was a smaller wire, one was a bigger wire. All right, there's two wires bifilar. One was smaller, one was bigger. One was a 22 gauge, one was 24 gauge, how we used it. So we do know that one wire has to be smaller than the other. This is very important. Don't try to cheap it out and use both the same size wires, because then you're going to mess this project up. All right. You're going to find out the hard way why it doesn't work or what your problem is. And that's because, of course, I said two different size gauges wires needs to be in here. All right. So now this wire that went to the potentiometer is the small wire. This small wire is called the trigger. That's the trigger of the circuit. You know what I'm saying? But we'll understand what that is now in a minute, right? Okay. Now, you've seen your potentiometer. I mean, grain of wheat bowl. I'll write it right over here. Resistor, 100 ohm. So you can see the parts. This right here is a transistor. We already know who that is. Okay, now what else do we have going on here? We're going to need the next big part of this is the batteries. So let's make this look like this. I got 2 batteries here, and I'm going to say positive, negative. I'm going to say same thing here, positive, negative. I'm going to call this guy my C, and I'm going to call this guy my P. All right, I'll bring this a little closer so you can see what I drew here, my little rendition of a battery. I'm a battery positive, negative, battery positive and negative. This battery, I labeled it the C for the charging battery. This battery, I labeled P for primary battery. Okay? All right, cool. Now that we got these 2 together, well, let's start linking this up. Now that we got these 2 together, this positive is going to connect to this negative of the battery. I'm going to show it to you this up close. You'll see it eventually. All right. And then what's going to happen is and draw this a little closer here so you can see. I'm going to draw this, and I'm making this little circle loop showing that I don't want to, there's not a connection. That little circle loop that I'm drawing over is showing that I'm passing over this. This is not a connection. When these wires are connecting, I'm going to show you a connection point by making a little dot on all of these things so you'll know. All right, you'll know that everything I'll put dots for you to know that these are connection points. If you see these loops going over it, that means it's not a connection point. All right, cool. Let's go back to where I was drawing. And this guy is going to go to that same side. And this one is the big wire. And I'm going to draw him a little more bolder so that way we have a better understanding. All right. Because remember, there's 2 wires wrapped around this coil a whole bunch of times. You know what I'm saying? One wire is bigger than the other wire, so we need to know which way where they're going. All right. The one side of this is going to have 2 wires. The other side of this is going to have 2 wires. One big, one small, one big, one small. Let's know where they're going. All right. The small wire on this side went over to the potentiometer, who went to the resistor. The resistor went to the grain of wheat bulb. The grain of wheat bulb went to the transistor on the base side. The big wire, you know what I'm saying, is going down to the battery because the big wire is the power wire. All right, cool. We're still going. We're almost there. We're almost about to bring it home. All right. So let's look at the other side of the wire for these bifired coil, which had a big wire and a small wire. So let's start with the big wire. The big wire, I'm going to draw him big and bold. Makes a connection point on this on this, which is called the C, which was the collector. Draw C. He's big wire. All right, I'm bringing it a little closer so you can see. All right, the big wire of the other side connected here. See the connection point? I'm showing you his connection point. Cool. And now the small wire does something like this on this side. The small wire is going to go from this guy, loops over, so you don't have that problem. And he is going to go up and over. But he also is going to make a connection point on this E right here. Okay. And of course, here's the small wire. So now on this side, those two wires, big wire, small wire. Maybe I should have did other colors for you to see, but we can get back to it. The small wire connects to the E. Can you see? Oh, am I holding this right up so you can see? The small wire on the other side connected to the E, which is the emitter. And then he also goes to the primary battery, the negative of the primary battery. Now, if you wanted to make this connection point be right here, it didn't make a difference. I could bring this, the small wire right to the emitter and bring the battery right to the emitter. It makes no difference. I just made my connection point out here so I don't clutter out in here to see too much. You know what I'm saying? Even when you're making this, sometimes I tail off. So that way I'm not actually coming to this unit and disturbing it too much. I'll make my wires hang off and I'll do all my connection points off of this. So I'm not doing too much disturbance. But like I said, that's one thing at a time. Small wire. Okay, cool. Who are we missing now? We are missing the other side of the charging battery. The other side of the charging battery goes off the collector here to another diode. So we're going to draw a diode here. And on this diode, we're going to have the dark side of the diode is connected to the collector, C. Remember, the whole body is C. And then the other side of this is going to go, how should I draw him so you can see? The other side of him is going here. So I'll do it this way. Over him, I'll go all the way this way. Boom. Just so you can see that connection. All right. I had to get so sloppy with it. Now, that's the charging battery. And coming off of the body of the collector, that's a C, is this diode. This diode is we get all our parts. It's the 1N4007. Okay, that's this diode right here that's hanging off the body, the 1N4007. So you got two different diodes, the 1N4001, the 1N4007. You know where they go. See the sides of the connection. You see I made the dark side over here. It has a little white tab going this direction, and he's going over to the charging battery. All right. This is all it takes to make your circuit work. In a nutshell, it can be this small. Here is a transistor. Here is the diode hanging off the backside that I just showed you. Here's the other diode going in between the two. You can see it, something like that in there. So now you can see the two diodes. Over here was my potentiometer. I got it going through the box, connecting one side. The potentiometer has the resistor tied to it. It's going to the grain of wheat. The grain of wheat bulb I have poking out through the top over here. Here's the other bulb, the other neon bulb. That's what we didn't write. The other bulb. Let's get the other one here. There's one more bulb, one more connection. This other connection is going to go from the body of the collector, and it's going to go from the body to the emitter. All right, so let's draw this out here. I'm gonna draw another big light bulb, funky looking light bulb, and he's going to come down to the emitter. Okay, this is called the neon bulb. Okay, that's the last piece. Can't forget about him. We need that neon bulb. His connection point is going from the body, the collector, to the emitter. The collector to emitter. Just one little, you know what I'm saying? This is your backup. This is going to help you not burn up the system if you forget to hook something up. Because if you don't have, if you disconnect one of these batteries, you can potentially burn your transistor out. So this neon bulb is like your fuse. So it's going to help save you. Unfortunately, I'm pushing so much power out of this that I can't make enough light bulbs to fuse it out. You know what I'm saying? But for you, that's going to turn it on. So anytime you see that bulb come on, you'll have to check and find out, why is that light coming on? Something must not be connected. You go over here, you'll find out who's not connected. Oh, okay. This is it. Let's look at it here. Let's talk about it real quick. All right. After I finish going over what's happening here, I'm going to look out there and see what y'all got to say in the room before we move on to the next one. All right. So I'll put this here. And it's also good that you draw this out for yourself. Get your own whiteboard. Draw it. Make it nice and neat. Put it on your wall. So that way you're looking at it all the time. If you're looking at it all the time, it's going to be talking to you. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be telling you something. And then eventually you're going to say, oh, shit, I see what he's trying to tell me. It's just going to be talking to you. All right? Anyhow, get my hand over here. This was our fidget spin over here, right? This was our little peace sign. All right? Now, when the magnet passed the core, that's when this magnet, reach down over here. When the magnet spins and it passes the core, the magnetic core, it induces a current in the opposite direction that flows through the base of the transistor and out through the emitter. All right? So when the magnet passes the core, the magnet induces a current that turns this on. All right. This turns on the transistor and the current is then free to flow from the positive of the primary battery through the primary coil and back to the negative of the battery. All right. After that's what I'm saying is that after the coil, the magnet passes the core, is going to turn this transistor on, which is now going to allow the power to go through. You know what I'm saying? And this is what you're feeling me? All right. Once the magnet passed the coil, the magnet no longer induces a current in the trigger coil. Now, you might hear me say trigger coil and power coil. What I'm basically saying is big wire, small wire. I'm saying power coil, which is the power wire, and I'm saying trigger wire, which is the smaller wire. All right. So that you know what I mean. What do we mean by the trigger? This is what triggers it. It turns it on. The power wire is where the power is flowing through. All right. All right. And so the transistor then turns off. When the transistor turns off, the coil in the magnetic field then collapses and creates a high potential spike in the primary coil and then goes through to the charging battery. All right. Because you know, when we turn things off and on, there's a little spark bang. It's a little spark bang when you turn these things on. You know what I'm saying? When you turn it on, it's a boom. Yeah, that's even where you're getting your Big Bang theory from. Because once you turn the power on, there's a boom, there's a spark. When you turn your light switch on, you're making an arc. That arc is it's a spike potential. But in this system, we're collecting that spike potential. Okay? And scam likely calling me at 740. They should know better than that. Like I says, and that's what's going on here. All right. So the faster the unit spins, means the faster the unit is turning off and on and off and on and off and on. And as it's doing that, we're collecting all of those high voltage spikes. They're random. They're not exactly the same things all the time. You know what I'm saying? This is the magic of what's going on. You know what I'm saying? It's in the static. It's in the ether. You know, this is all different lessons and understandings that we need to get through. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I'm not mad at the brother. I don't want y'all to be saying, oh, one world, one hood, he's hating. I'm not hating. You know what I'm saying? I just don't want to. It took me a long time to get y'all this far. I don't want to see somebody when people come in and they show you something real quick and it messes all up. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I says, bring it to me. Let me see what y'all talking about. You know, when you see a magnet wrapped around, wire wrapped around a magnet, and they're telling you, and maybe a spark plug, and you're seeing all this stuff. That's why you learn in here that, well, if this magnet is not moving, well, then there can't be no voltage. We understand how this works here. This is how we shut some things down real quick. So, like I says, and remember, there's 6 different ways to make a voltage. You know what I'm saying? Paying for it is not one of them. You was witnessing solar panels or something like that, and you can deal with that. You know what I mean? But when the light goes out, I don't want to hear is you got a sun in a box. That's where I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying? I just put my hand on my head. I was like, oh man, I don't know what I'm gonna I was like, yo, what the hell I'm gonna do with this one here? Ain't no sun in a box. All right. Let's get that one out of your head. You're not using a generator, you know what I'm saying? Because when you start listening to what the stuff that you're saying, when you realize when you say it out loud, you'd be like, oh yeah, that don't kind of make any sense. You say, I'm gonna use a generator to turn on a light. I'm gonna put the light in a box, and then I said, wait a minute, well, you got to do some studies on this stuff. You're gonna know that if we can use fluorescent light bulb, or we can use these light bulbs to power your solar panel, don't you think that they would have did that a long time ago? I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? I got solar panels all in, and we all do that. I mean, yeah, you're gonna get a little bit out of it, but that's not what we're trying to do here. We're trying to power some stuff. You know what I mean? You're gonna show me we're using drills and powers and stuff like that. You're not gonna get that running with a light bulb. You know what I'm saying? You can't even use those light bulbs to power your plants. You got to get yourself from a high pressure sodium light bulb so you can make your plants grow. So you got to think about how much power you need just to make your plants grow. You want to use the power. We're talking about a lot more power than that. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, it's all good. We've got that already, and we can actually we got solar. We got solar panels, and we can, you know what I'm saying, we can go over solars. We can add them, you know what I'm saying, because the only thing, like you said, you're collecting power, you're collecting energy through heat. We can go through that, and you're collecting it into a battery. You're sending it back out into an inverter. But we're gonna need to know about how much power you are collecting, how much draw you're using, you know what I'm saying? And that's when all of the meters start coming into play. And I need to see these things going on. So we need to know exactly what we got here. Other than that, you know, you can plug something up on a battery. Yeah, it's gonna work. Yeah, you're gonna use it. Are you gonna use it all night? That's what this is. This gonna run you. You know what I'm saying? I'll show you. Like I said, right now we got 110 volts coming out of this. But next week, I'll be pushing 200. I'll be pushing your air conditions and everything else is be running all at the same time. And it's gonna run whether it's daytime, it's gonna run whether it's nighttime, whether it's cold outside, whether it's hot, it's gonna keep running. And I ain't gotta charge it up no more. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're talking about when we talk about free. So now now let's understand what free is here. Well, It was some money paid, but you can see in this setup right here that this stuff is cheap. This piece of wood, I'm telling you, this meter here was $10. You know what I mean? That I got on it. Drawer, you know what I'm saying? I got a couple of batteries, some wires and stuff in here. All of this stuff I can show you where you can take this off an old microwave sitting in the garbage, pull a part off of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm showing you how to minimize the cost. The most expensive thing about this is the wire. Buying the wire. You might get it for $20, $30, whatever. You might, a coil, whatever. That's just the most expensive part. Everything else is pretty cheap. It's all about know-how. The next part would be a couple of tools. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody has tools laying around. So yeah, you might have to acquire some tools. So, but after you buy these tools, this is a one-time thing, and the tools don't cost that much. Let's not make it hard. All right. The meter, none of these things cost much. All right. All right. So let's go over what time we got here. Because I remember I got a Zoom call to make. To be in. What time we got over here? Okay, we still got a little time. All right. So let's do this here. All right. Remember, we got 6 different ways to make a voltage. Let's go over to my notes here. So shout out to all of the guys who make these presentations and think of all week how they're going to do it. I don't have the time for that. That's why, and I've been a little busy. That's why we've been missing some of these free energy streams, and especially on Friday, it's just been a hectic day. But let's go over this here. Let me try to get y'all some here. All right. Primary methods of producing a voltage. Presently, we got here in this community 6 different ways to produce a voltage. And matter of fact, check this out. There's been a whole lot of live streaming free energy superstars on this YouTube screen stage here this week. I just want y'all to know one motherfucking thing. When it comes to free energy, this is my motherfucking house. And when I say 6 different ways to make a voltage, y'all guys say, and paying for it's not one of them. Free energy. All right, hold on, let me try this. We got 6 different ways to make a voltage, and paying for it's not. Hello? Do I gotta turn the lights on? I said we got 6 different ways to produce a voltage, and paying for it's not one of them. Come on now. Y'all don't hear me. You don't hear me. Okay. Friction. Voltage produced by rubbing 2 materials together. Okay. Real simple. Pressure. Piezoelectric. Voltage produced by squeezing crystals of certain substances. We're going to get some piezoelectric. You see them in your lighters. We're going to take a few lighters apart. We're gonna make some voltage. We're going to show them. You know what I'm saying? We're going to show y'all, man. And this stuff is all around you. We just been dumbed down. You ain't thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? You thinking about doing something else. You thinking about $15 an hour, I guess. You know what I'm saying? You thinking about something else. You know what I'm saying? Well, that's our problem. We slave to technology. You know what I'm saying? Man. Heat. Thermoelectricity. Voltage produced by heating the joints where 2 unlike metals are joined. That's heat. That's thermoelectricity. Light. Photoelectricity. Voltage produced by light striking photosensitive materials and substances. Photo electricity. Chemical action. Chemical action is voltage produced by the chemical reaction in a battery cell. So when you're looking at a battery, you're talking about chemical action. All right. And magnetism. Voltage produced in a conductor when the conductor moves through a magnetic field, or when the magnetic field moves through the conductor in such a manner as to cut the magnetic lines of force of the field. This is what we do here. This is this part of it. I don't know if like I said, I'm gonna work on getting a better camera and stuff over here so I can give y'all a little closer up. But this one is right here is on my laptop, and I don't know if I picking it up right. All right, fine. So I gotta get y'all a little closer to it so you can see what's going on. I'm trying to hold shit in one hand. Are we still good? I just messed my thing up there here. Let me make sure I'm good in here. Start cam. See, that's why I knew I shouldn't have picked it up. I think I'm still good. It says I'm still live here. I shouldn't have picked it up. It's a lab. I'm trying to do one thing, holding, juggling shit, holding the block, trying to hold the live stream. The fucking thing closed. Almost shut the whole thing down. What time is it? We're almost, like I said, I got a live stream. I mean, a thing coming out shortly, so I can't rock with y'all too much longer. But we're gonna do this again. I do have some more stuff set up for y'all. We're gonna, you know what I mean? Hopefully y'all get on. Let me look and see what's going on in here. Did I think that I answered? Because I tried to make sure. All right. If you're not part of the back chat with us, you can always email me, oneworld1hood@gmail. Says put me into the back chat, into the class. This is where you can ask more questions. Mind you, there's other guys I got here that made it past these areas that can definitely help out. You know what I'm saying? I got, you know what I'm saying, shout out to Spirit Like Body, to the boss, you know what I'm saying, to Chris. I mean, we got, you know what I'm saying, I can't remember everybody on the top of my head, like I said, I'm a smoker, but I'm trying to give y'all the best method right here. Like I said, so I feel bad for they trying to, I tried to tell y'all before, listen, every time that you see the military do their little practices about this and they practice about 9/11, next thing you know, shit happened. But they practice about the power going out. So that means it's going to happen. You've seen it already touch in Texas. You know what I'm saying? I feel bad for our people out there in Texas, you know what I'm saying, who don't know about this free energy out there. I talked to one of our peoples and they says that they was worried about after a while about their power for the refrigerators, and they start talking about the turning the water off after conserving and all of this stuff. I'm like, man, you know what I'm saying? You see what happens without knowledge? You know, so knowledge is power. Don't pay for it, you know what I'm saying? Make it on your own. It's right here. It's free. You know what I'm saying? Why is it free? You might look at this and sit there and says, well, you paid for a box. You paid for your, I mean, probably all the parts that I bought on this was less than $100. You know what I'm saying? But think about what happened. See, I look at it like residual income. You know what I'm saying? Like an actor, they did their work, their hard work, because you had to learn it, you had to memorize it, you had to put this together and presentate it. But once it was done, it pays for itself. It's residual income, free energy in a residual income type of way. We put a little bit of thought, a little bit of time and effort, a little bit into this, but I ain't got to worry about it no more. It just pays for itself. You know what I'm saying? It does what do you want it to do? It does AC and DC at the same damn time. It does high voltage and low voltage at the same damn time. You know what I'm saying? What more do you, what can you, what you want it to do now? You know what I'm saying? But anywho, y'all know what time it is. This is Free Energy Friday, but we ain't on Friday because we had to make this an emergency call. All right. But you see my phone is going crazy. They must be trying to tell me it's about that time. All right, so we're gonna have to cut this one out. So what I gotta say here, may the force be with you. Flat motherfucking electrical power. Remember, email me, get added to the back chat. You can question me all the time in there. You know what I'm saying? Or you can even say in the bottom of these comments, add me to the back chat. You're gonna have to have a Gmail, and you know what I'm saying, and we'll get you in there. You know what I'm saying? If we can get this into a little more, maybe we'll do another stream this week. I can see it happening. I'm not gonna cut y'all short right now. There's really a lot more to talk about. But you hear my phone going off again. Flat motherfucking electrical power. Peace.